Hey, y'all. Hope you're doing well. It's funny how you're just going along your life and then something bizarre, or not bizarre, but just something routine occurs that just snaps you back into the realization that you're no longer in the world that you grew up in. That reality has changed. I don't know if this phone picks up audio or not, but I did this
I can hear from
recording.
anybody is that we made our own stuffing. I don't want to hear that.
Really?
Yes, stuffing. Come on. The people at Stovetop, they know what they're doing. Let them do
Hope
it.
so. Hopefully, you're hearing the bit.
Every day for 100 years, these people drive to a building that says Stouffer's on it. They go in there, they make stuffing all day long.
So hopefully that recorded, and you could hear him talking about Stouffer's. Um, I am not bringing this up because somebody reminded me of Stouffer's this week. What had occurred was, and this makes me sound incredibly stupid, and I don't care because I should know better, but I think sometimes I bounce between worlds and realities, and I don't know where I am. So I'm interviewing for this job, and that's a whole nother story. We'll get into that later. But yes, I've actually considering leaving this blessed land of finance and going to another setting. But I'm setting up this interview, and I'm talking to the director of HR on Monday, and she said, "Okay, I've done preliminary interviews with her. I'd like to set you up with further interviews with some key people, and let's do this." So she was talking about no, sorry, that's not exactly how it started out. First, she replied saying I passed the first interviews and I passed the assessment questions that they had sent me and I had to send back. And she said we want to continue to conduct interviews and set up further meetings. And I said, well, that's great. And I was thinking when she said it on Monday, I was thinking this week was Thanksgiving. Like literally tomorrow, I thought was Thanksgiving. Because for me, Thanksgiving, I grew up with Thanksgiving firmly etched in my history of tradition. My every single year, Thanksgiving has been the third Thursday of the month, or second to the last. It's always been like the third weekend around the 23rd, 24th. That's always been the Thanksgiving. This being the last Thanksgiving, the last Thursday, is kind of different. But I said to her, I said, well, have a great day, and if I don't speak to you sooner, have a great Thanksgiving week. Yeah. And she came back. She said, we're definitely going to set up some interviews before Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh, hold on. What just happened? And I'm like, oh my God, she's going to think I'm a complete idiot. I forgot Thanksgiving's no longer the second to the last Thursday. And she came back and we set up a full day of interviews. I've got like from 9 a.m. to 2:30. I've got interviews this Thursday. What used to be my Thanksgiving. I've got interviews all day long. But I was like, man, it's such of a shocker for me to forget where Thanksgiving you used to land and where it does in this reality. So that brought me back into remembering the Mandela effect, and of course, Stouffer's stovetop stuffing was a staple when it comes to Thanksgiving. So I'm, quickly doing some research, trying to figure out what the heck, and we've got the history on it. Good old Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He's a Mandela effect right there. Just his middle name and him being the face on the dime instead of Ike, the Ike dime. There's some interesting Mandela effects with Roosevelt, but Thanksgiving is briefly moved to the third Thursday of November. So it was changed from the last Thursday to the in November to the second to the last Thursday by Franklin D. Now, you see that and you think, oh, of course, that's why I remember it being, the second to the last Thursday, because I grew up, every Thanksgiving was second to the last Thursday of Thanksgiving. It was not the last Thursday. Here's people that, on Mandela Effect forums will state Thanksgiving for me has always been the third Thursday of November, except on the calendar Thanksgiving is and has always been on the last Thursday. So that's the reality that we find ourselves in. Tomorrow should be Thanksgiving for me. That's the world I grew up in, the reality I knew. And Stouffer's stovetop stuffing should have helped cap off the holiday, but now we got this craft crap. This is just a different world, right? So there was this presidential proclamation shift in tradition. The country was in the midst of the Great Depression, and with the holiday shopping season at stake, Roosevelt made the bold decision. Oh yeah, so bold. In an effort to boost the economy and extend the holiday shopping period, he moved Thanksgiving to the third. I mean, isn't that just the stupidest thing too? It's so stupid. You're like, there's no way this place can be real. So apparently this happened. He moved it to the third, and in my old reality that I grew up in, this stuck. Okay, this became the day, the third Thursday of November. But the reality we currently are in, though whatever I've shifted to, this got revoked and changed. But he had declared it and proclaimed an executive order. That executive order keeps coming up. So Roosevelt was the reason, apparently, that I grew up with it. Now, wait a minute. The House agreed to the amendment, and President Roosevelt signed the resolution on December 26, 1941, thus establishing the fourth Thursday in November as the. So now it gets confusing. First, first they're saying that it's the third, that he's the one who made it the third, and now he made it the fourth. I'm afraid I don't have time to research the finer details about why this flip-flopped or why they can't decide on which Thursday it's going to be. But in this little clip, the House agreed to amend. Okay, sorry. Roosevelt didn't do it, the House. So they only let it go a few years. And by 1941, they established the fourth Thursday of November as federal Thanksgiving. So this lasted just a brief period of time, and then they switched it back. So I should not have grown up with the third Thursday being my Thanksgivings. And this one says, according to the National Archives, the last Thursday in November fell on the last day of the month in 1939. President Roosevelt moved the Thanksgiving to the second of the last Thursday in November, allowing for a longer shopping season. So that all makes sense. And who started it? Of course, Lincoln. Lincoln's got a lot of interesting glitches in the matrix, too. Abraham Lincoln was president. He proclaimed the last Thursday of November to be our national Thanksgiving Day. In 1865, Thanksgiving was celebrated on the first Thursday of November. But Lincoln's the one who set it up as the last. So there you have it. So if you are strongly Mandela affected and you find yourself saying the wrong things on occasion to people because your old memories and your old reality just kick in and you just forget, oh, this place is different now. Well, don't feel alone. I'm right there with you. In fact, I just set up a potential job interview and slipped up and thought that this week was Thanksgiving because I'm so connected to that old reality. Now, does it really matter? I mean, the world is almost a perfect carbon copy of what it used to be, except for these minor things like Thanksgiving Day shifting around or Stouffer's stovetop stuffing no longer being. I mean, the reality is close enough. I mean, none of these things are stopping me from moving along each day, except some people might look at me like I'm a complete idiot. And how can I be in my mid 50s and not know what day Thanksgiving lands on in November? And here I'm trying to set up a job interview thinking that I'm going to be off tomorrow. That's what I thought. I thought tomorrow was an off day for me. Not that, you can tell I don't get too involved with the plans around the house for Thanksgiving. Is, whatever we eat or do, or, I mean, there's no plans to meet with family or anything like that. Maybe that's why it's not anchored into me this year. It's just there's nothing special about going anywhere or doing anything special for Thanksgiving, except this job interviewing thing. Why on earth would I be looking for another job? I got to admit, this job has been priceless in researching corporate America and the way corporate weasels interact. And as I've stated before, you know, the language of corporate weasels and my place in this land. I've been thinking about writing a book, and instead of writing like the laws of power type style thing, I was thinking about writing like a gorillas in the mist, like I'm that Jane person studying the natural habitat of the corporate weasel in the corporate jungle, and just kind of diary like day one, day two. I've decided to separate myself from my fellow researchers and just immerse myself into the land of the corporate weasel. Surprisingly, they have taken me in, and they allow me to sit and study them and journal their interactions. And one thing I just got to share. So our corporate weasel level 9, no, level 8, sorry. He's a level 8. I'm a level 4, by the way, in this world. And there's a bunch of lower level weasels all around him, and he decides to tell a joke. And I said, oh my God, this is gold. This is priceless material I've got to incorporate into the corporate weasel book. The funny thing that occurred was he decided to tell a joke. And this is the kind of joke that if your, you know, second grader came home from school and said, hey mom, I want to tell you a joke, you would smile and laugh at it to encourage him, pat him on the head and say, okay, that's nice, Johnny, now go play in your room. This is the level joke that he said. This is the level of humor of joke, and yet all of the lower level weasels, except for me, which found it was kind of odd. I just kind of smiled looking around like, where the hell am I? Everybody laughed, like belly roll laughed, like it was the funniest fucking thing they'd ever heard. I mean, it was golden. I wish I could have recorded it just to document that this actually happened right before my eyes, just so I could show you how stupid. I mean, it's like corporate weasels have the innate ability to just know when to laugh at the stupid, most outrageous things. So yeah, he said, well, I've got this one joke, and he said, why does a duck have tail feathers? And all the minion corporate weasels were like, oh, I don't know, tell us what? Like, we just got to know. We need to know. We can't figure this out. And I'm just sitting there thinking, oh, this is going to be good. And he said, to cover its butt quack. And at that response, everybody just started laughing so hard. And I'm like, oh my God, I am in bizarro land. The ass kissery that exists in this world is so blatant and over the top. And I think he even realized that it wasn't that funny and that he was just getting all this attention for unjust reasons. But I don't know. Corporate weasels at that level don't seem to realize that they're not the geniuses they think they are, and they're not as good looking or funny as they think they are. But because so many people are constantly reaffirming this idea that they're special little sugar dumplings, they start believing it, and their egos just inflate to the size of the Hindenburg. But that is not the reason that I put my resume out. But the thing is, this has been a good experience. Nothing wrong with it. But when things occur that make you feel like you're feeling stagnant, you're not you're not operating at the level you're supposed to, or doing what you're meant to be doing. Just there were a few things that were like winks from God or the universe or whatever, saying, "Hey, you might want to just go ahead and throw that resume out there and see if there's something that gets you excited a little bit more." I mean, I've only got, at my age, how many more years am I actually going to be out hustling this thing? And I need, for your sake too, I need to get into different environments in the corporate weasel world to really perfect and develop this book. I mean, I need to leave this one group and go insert myself in another one. And I need to insert myself at higher rungs as much as possible. So if I can bump up to a weasel level 6 or 7, that'll give me more exposure to those weasels at higher levels. Then I can just record classic interactions of how they behave. And then when I sit down to retire, I can write the memoirs and the book and journal it all out. So I appreciate your contributions to this book. Go ahead and put in comments any other observations you've seen in corporate Weasel America, and share with me your Thanksgiving memories. I mean, maybe for you, Thanksgiving's always been the last Thursday, and I'm crazy. I'm high on crack. You don't know what I'm talking about, but for me, it's just been such of a habit for it to be the third Thursday. This just blows my mind that it blows my mind, because here I am even setting up job interviews thinking I have to schedule it around the third Thursday because that would be the holiday. Anyway, when that occurred, I thought, like, yeah, I've been a little busy. I haven't been able to upload stuff, but I thought I needed to share that. I've been hit with, maybe it's COVID, but it's so weak now. It's not really the same impact. It's just down for like maybe a day, and then 2 weeks of lingering junk in my chest that doesn't want to leave, and it's set up a campground. It's like, no, I'm good here. So I haven't had a voice to really record anything. This is the best I've felt in the last couple weeks. But yeah, other than that, so I'm glad that I'm feeling better, so I can go into this full day of interviewing and not have a sore throat. But wish me luck on that. I mean, whether I get it or not doesn't matter. It's just it's fun to practice those skills and to even be considered for the level that they're talking to me about. And if not, we just keep plugging along. But hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy the season. Tell me your memories of Thanksgiving and holidays that have changed, and share this around to anybody who's might remember, or see if you can find anybody that remembers Thanksgiving being different. Um, and I'll post that link to that old video that I posted with Kevin doing his little joke monologue there about Thanksgiving and Stouffer stovetop stuffing. I'll try to do that. Anyway, y'all have a great one. God bless, and keep rocking on. We'll see you. Bye.